So that was yeah, the Triple J Lacquer version was really where everything kind of popped off. That's where everything kind of started. Like that was the craziest thing to see. Like my Instagram socials just like went from like a couple hundred to like a few thousand in like a couple hours, and that was mental to me. Yeah, I remember I got a text from my manager when I was at school, and it was like a little audio thing of Elton John talking about me on his radio show. And
so insane.
I just remember I was just like in my locker room at
school. Yeah, you were just in school.
Yeah, and I was listening to it, and like no one was in there, and I just remember freaking out by myself in this locker room. We were kind of just joking about it, because we were talking about like I really wanted to do a support tour around Australia. And he was like, oh, like maybe one day you could support Khalid. And I was like, haha, very funny. And then yeah, then like a couple months later, like when things kind of started to pop off a little bit, my manager and him were talking a little bit more, and yeah, it happened. Like Khalid heard my stuff and wanted me to support him, which was insane.
This is Lauren Engel. Today I'm here with RUEL.
Hey!
So your grandparents are originally from London, or?
No, well, on my mum's side, yes.
Yeah.
The whole of my mum's side are from London. On my dad's side, it's all Holland and in the Dutchlands.
Oh, so do you still have a bunch of family in Holland?
Not really. I mean, like my second cousins and like my dad's cousins and uncles and stuff all live over there, but my first family always all live in New Zealand or Australia.
Mm-hmm. Is your family in London creative?
I mean, not really. I mean, I don't want to say that. But, they're really, no, they are creative. Like they're all really into like the arts and stuff. Like my sisters are really like into drama and stuff like that. But none of my family really into me or like do music.
Yeah. And so your parents came to Australia for your dad's job, or?
Yeah, that's correct.
And wait, what did your mom do? Because your dad does advertising, right? Yeah.
Yeah, so my dad is in advertising, my mom works with him, and yeah, so he's really into like, you know, sounds and stuff like that, so I guess, and he does creative writing for like ads and stuff like that, so he's a very creative person.
Do they have their own company, or?
Yeah, it's called Eardrum.
And what kind of music were your parents playing in the house when you were growing up?
I mean, lots of stuff. They were playing R&B, soul, jazz, mostly jazz, like Dave Brubeck, and then obviously like Stevie Wonder, playing Amy Winehouse, Bill Withers, yeah, all the greats.
How do you describe your parents' personalities, and who are you more similar to?
I mean, I think I'm both similar to them, like equally in different ways. My dad is very, very creative and very like, I don't want to say in the clouds, but he's kind of, if he has an idea, he wants to tell everyone, and he's like...
Oh, I love that.
Anyway, yeah. And my mom kind of keeps it a little bit more real, like, because everyone in our family is very, very creative, and then my mom's like the one that's like, says, that's a terrible idea, like, you know, be realistic, which is good to have that balance, otherwise we'd all be really out of it. yeah.
Was it your dad or your mom that wanted you to do the piano lessons when you were 5?
I think... I actually don't even know. I was 5. Probably my dad, because like he used to play the drums. My mum never played an instrument, but and he played the drums for like 2 years in high school, and then he like claims it. So like, yeah, I played the drums. But, no, he didn't. But yeah, I feel like it probably would have been him.
But you didn't like piano early on, right?
Oh, I hated it. Yeah. I hated it so much. Probably was my teacher. Remember every single lesson I had, I just ran away. Either like if I couldn't get something, or like I would get in trouble for like, or I don't know, she would like correct something I was doing, I would literally just run as far as I could away. And then yeah, the piano teacher like didn't want to teach me anymore because I was so hard to do, and I was like, sweet, like mission accomplished. So I didn't do piano after she quit on me.
There was one song that you wanted to play, right? The Elton John song.
I mean, yeah, like, I was really into Elton John when I was like 5. I don't even know why. Like my parents didn't even really play them around the house. But I just really like Crocodile Rock. And I feel like the only reason why I was like agreed to playing piano was because I wanted to play that. And I feel like I learned like the first bit of it, like the real simple bit. But, yeah, that was the first thing I've learned. I have a memory of.
And you do another instrument?
Yeah. Then I played the guitar like 3 years later. I didn't really do any music for like since I was like 5 to 8, and then when I was 8, I picked up a guitar and I really liked that, and then I started singing, and then kind of came more of a singing lesson than a guitar lesson because I loved singing way more.
So your guitar teacher was teaching you singing?
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, okay. What kind of songs were you learning early on?
I was learning his like Jessie J, Bruno Mars, like he just like pop stuff. I was like, but I loved it. I was really into like Ed Sheeran, yeah, Bruno Mars. Who else? Like early Maroon 5 stuff. I used to play all their stuff. But yeah.
How would you describe your personality back then?
I was like when I was like probably when I stopped being so aggro when I was like 7. Like I was a really angry kid all the time, and I was never really happy. But when I was like 8, I kind of just like chilled out a little bit more, and I don't know. I was very open. Like I wasn't really shy, but I don't know. I reckon I was just a pretty open sort of talkative.
And then one of the songs that your dad picked up on, right, that you were doing a cover on?
Yes, I did a cover of James Bay, Let It Go, and yeah, I think I was like the song my dad thought was like, oh, he's pretty good. And when I remember I was like really bored one holiday, and it was like just after I'd learned that cover, and since in my dad's kind of workplace he has a studio for like doing voiceovers, I went in there with one of his engineers and just recorded this cover just completely for fun, and it came out like I really loved how it came out. And I remember like a few weeks later my dad met the manager of M-Phazes, who's an Australian producer, and played that to him just because, you know, he just wanted to see what a professional person would think. And he really liked it, so M-Phazes wanted to work with me. And
yeah, initially M-Phazes didn't even know, like your dad didn't say it's you.
Yeah, he didn't say it was like his son. It was like, oh yeah, I found this voice. like what do you think? But like I guess he liked what he heard and wanted to work with me, which is still crazy to this day.
Yeah. Was it difficult getting into sessions early on? Were you already writing lyrics back then?
A little bit. I was writing like, you know, I feel like every kid had a stage where they like wrote stuff down and thought it was a song and be like, yeah, this is so sick, I'm so edgy. But I did that, and that was so bad.
Do you remember what the early songs were about?
They were about like, I remember I would always write about stuff that was like really intense, but I wasn't going through any of it.
I guess
like,
love related.
Like I was just like writing about like being really badly bullied, even though I wasn't. Like it was just really bad songs. But anyway, and then I met Thief, who's my main collaborator now, and so M-Phazes kind of put me in a room with him to write when I was 12, and we wrote "Don't Tell Me," which is the first thing I ever wrote, which was like the first solo single I ever came out with.
And it was difficult, right? Because you realized that they were so much older than you.
Yeah, it was. Like, everyone in the industry, like, even to this day, that I work with or meet or I'm friends with, all like 20 years older than me. So I'm kind of used to it now, but back then it was kind of weird going into, like, rooms with a dude that had, like, kids and stuff, and I was, like, writing a song. I was like, this is different. But, like, I got used to it, and he's, like, the nicest guy, and I love him so much. So, yeah, it was really good.
And for those early sessions, were you sharing similar lyrics that you were going through, or was it mostly like them, like teaching you how to put together the song?
A little bit of both. I would come in with the concept every day that we wrote together, and I would kind of like I was 12. I didn't really know how to write lyrics, but he definitely helped me, and he would kind of help me put those concepts onto paper, and then obviously like I would write like a verse or something, and then he would kind of tell me what to change and stuff like that, and like how to do it differently, and then he'd always come up with like, you know, the chords and the musical side of it, and then I would usually come up with like the melodies and stuff like that, and that's how it really works.
And back then, were you doing this like on weekends after school?
Yeah, all after school, exactly, weekends, holidays, just when I could.
And how long after did you, until you performed on Triple J?
So that was yeah, the Triple J Like a Version was really where everything kind of popped off. That's where everything kind of started. Like that was the craziest thing to see. Like my Instagram socials just like went from like a couple hundred to like a few thousand in like a couple hours, and that was mental to me. And then yeah, it was really cool to just see that kind of grow, and that Like a Version kind of got a little famous around Australia. And then I got to like do a few interviews on Triple J, and then it kind of got me like more kind of people wanted to work with me after that, so I could get more connects and stuff like that.
And then, so what happened after the Triple J? A lot of record labels started reaching out to you, right?
Yeah, so after that, my manager went around like the world kind of pitching me and like the music that I had to record labels, and then like a few were interested. So then I kind of went again with him to meet those people and meet those labels, and the one that stood out to me personally, because I just really like the people, was RCA, and that's who assigned me now.
And did it occur to you that was still early to sign, because you didn't really release too much
No,
back then, right?
Like I went to meet RCA, and then like nothing really happened, and then I it was a little bit of like 6 months of kind of like dullness. Didn't really know what to do, so we ended up just putting out Don't Tell Me ourselves independently. And then after that, then the labels were kind of had more interest, I guess, and then that's when we signed with RCA.
Were you ever afraid that signing early on, they have you haven't totally figured out your branding and who you are as an artist? I
mean, I was kind of prepared to find that out. Like I was with people that I knew would help me find that out, and yeah, I wasn't really scared signing that early, because the terms are really good, and they weren't. I wasn't really signing my life away.
Yeah.
So like even when I turn 18, or like 21, and when the deal's over, like I can just go back to school. Like I've got more options. I've got like a safety net almost.
And you mentioned in a previous interview that initially you were scared of getting pigeonholed right into like a social media singer.
Yeah. So that's kind of on the music side. I've always wanted to keep it a little bit left of center, because that's the music that I listen to as well. And yeah, I was always really scared of kind of turning into like a gimmicky sort of Justin Bieber wannabe sort of area. And yeah, and like nothing against him, and nothing against like what he does. He's insanely talented, but like I just don't want to be someone who's trying to impersonate someone, or just be like a social media kind of kid who also does music. Like I wanted it to be about the music over anything.
And one thing that I found really interesting and cool was your initial songs, you didn't put your face.
Yeah, exactly. So like after, I mean like the first time I showed my face was on that Triple J Like a Version. So that was after the first song I'm gonna put out, Golden Years, was out. So yeah, I didn't really show my face until then, and that was just done for a reason. So it was about the music, not me.
And what do you think, was it the Triple J or some other things that got you such a big international fan base, especially in Japan, right? Yeah,
so I did a festival in Japan a couple years ago, Pop Spring, and that was the first time I'd ever been to Asia, and that was also very, very early on. I only had 2 songs out then, and that kind of got me like a pretty big kind of following over there, which was really, really helpful. So I'm going there tonight. I'm going like all around Asia to tour for the first time, so I'm really, really excited.
Is it kind of surprising or weird to you at times, if you think back, how everything kind of came a bit easy to you? Like people have been working like years and you got success from like 2 songs. Like how do you grapple with that?
I mean, yeah, I haven't really kind of seen that much, which is kind of good. Like I haven't had that many people come up to me and say that, but yeah, I get it. Like there are people that have, you know, been working for more than I've been alive for, and like trying to, you know, make it. And I was like, I am like very, very lucky that I met the people I met, but like I do like work very hard, and I do feel like I deserve it, because I do the hours as well as I don't feel like it's been given to me.
Yeah, I love that. And what was your first reaction when the whole Elton John thing came about?
Well, yeah, that was mental. That was very, very, very crazy and overwhelming. Still to think of it now. But yeah, I remember I got a text from my manager and I was at school, and it was like a little audio thing of Elton John talking about me on his radio show.
So
And
insane.
I just remember I was just like in my locker room.
Oh yeah, you were just in school.
Yeah, and I was listening to it, and like no one was in there, and I just remember freaking out by myself in this locker room. And yeah, it's still mental to think that he kind of, knew who I was and listened to my music.
Yeah, and you met him in...
Yeah, then a few weeks later he was in Sydney, coincidentally, and wanted to meet me, and I got to meet him. I talked to him for a few hours and gave me some like really great advice and wisdom, and yeah, it was really nice.
And when you were still in school, did you feel like people were treating you differently, or how was it after you found the success in music?
So actually, like, right before I started releasing music, I changed schools. I was in like an all-boys kind of very Australian, classic Australian school, and then I moved to like a co-ed, more artsy school. And then when I started releasing music, like I was expecting, to be a little bit, of like people would be a little bit standoffish, but since it was more of an artsy school and like lots of people did music over there and were releasing music as well, like I felt a lot more at home.
And now you do online school, or?
Yeah, I do homeschool now.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Do you like that, or what's that like?
It's very different. I don't really love it. Like, then again, who would love it? So, yeah. It hasn't been that bad so far, but yeah, it's alright.
And what are your inspirations for your music coming out?
Yeah, like, the music that I'm working on right now and will be releasing very soon is a little bit different from what I've done before. I feel like it's a little bit more me, just because for the first EP, when I was writing it, I was young and I didn't really have that much creative direction because I didn't really know what I was doing. So I feel like this time I've definitely taken more creative direction, and I'm kind of leading the writing sessions and kind of saying, alright, this is what I want to do. I want to make a song like this, and I want it to be about this. Like, I need you guys to help me do that. So it definitely has gone in more of a... It definitely reflects on the music that I listen to more than it did before.
And you're currently and also recently listening to Love Tyler, the Creator, right?
Yeah, I mean, like, I've been listening to him, for a while now, and I've just absolutely loved everything he's done, and yeah, he's been a huge influence on me.
Yeah.
Just like, not even like the music, just like everything he does, like the whole thing that he does with Golf Wang and kind of the festival, like just everything. He's just such an inspiring person. And
you performed his.
Yeah, that was the craziest thing that's probably ever happened to me. I got an email from Tyler, the Creator himself, saying if I want to, play his festival, and I did, and it was crazy. Yeah, it was so sick.
Do you see yourself kind of being like an entrepreneur, similar to him, with the festival and the clothing and your music career too?
I hope so. I mean, like, I really want to start up a clothing line like he did. I've already got
you
like
have such
heaps
cool
of ideas.
style.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
I've got like heaps of ideas already. I've got a little book that I want to kind of fill out before I kind of drop anything. But yeah, I feel like that will be coming soon.
Who else are your style inspirations?
In terms of like clothing?
Yeah, or brands that you look up to.
I mean, like I said, I love Golf Wang. Really loved Off-White for a while. Well, like Undercover. A lot of Japanese brands.
Oh, you're wearing Y3.
Yeah, I'm wearing Y3 right now, which is sick. And yeah, like I'm just really obsessed with the whole like Japanese style, because like the kind of all baggy stuff and kind of earthy sort of tones. I think it's really cool.
How did the opening for Khalid come about?
Yeah, so I met Khalid's A&R, Tunji, who's now at my A&R, a couple years ago when I was doing those kind of label meetings, and I remember we were kind of just joking about it, because we were talking about like I really wanted to do a support tour around Australia, and he was like, oh, like maybe one day you could support Khalid, and I was like, haha, very funny. And then yeah, then like a couple months later, like when things started to pop up a little bit, my manager and him were talking a little bit more, and yeah, it happened. Like Khalid heard my stuff and wanted me to support him, which was insane. And yeah, I got to meet him, and he was really dope. And now, I've got a good relationship with him now, which is really cool. And yeah, it was just such an amazing experience. Like, it was the biggest shows I've probably ever done. And yeah, it was
so
really sick.
Cool. Do you feel like you have some pressure now that you have like so much buzz around you and keeping up with that, and then with the releases and everything, or you don't think too much?
I don't really think about that much that I don't really think about that too much, like the whole pressure and kind of releasing music and, you know, always trying to stay relevant, because I just kind of want to take it at my own pace, and I'll only really release something if I really, really love it. So yeah, I am taking it a little bit slow, which I like. I like having the freedom to kind of just, you know, release what I want and not having to be like pressured by like labels and people to, you know, make sure there's always a deadline for an album and stuff like that.
Yeah. How has your relationship with your parents and family changed with the blossoming of your music career?
It really hasn't changed much at all. I feel like we're all very similar. Then I feel like I'm very similar to what I was like before it all kind of happened. And yeah, like they're all very, very supportive of me. Like my sisters are the greatest. Like they're very, very supportive of my music and everything. Yeah, and everything I'm doing. So yeah.
And initially your dad gave a lot of input in your music career. Does he still give that much input now, or?
I mean, not as much as he did before. Like he definitely really helped me as a songwriter, like when I was writing the first like few songs. And yeah, like right now, like he always used to come with me to like those little writing sessions and kind of help me, you know, stand in the back of the room and kind of just like, you know, make sure I'm staying on track. And yeah, but now like I've been writing by myself or like with other people, like Not Even Thief, like for the past like couple years now in LA. So yeah, he definitely doesn't have as much input, but I definitely value his opinion on all the songs that I make and all that sort of stuff.
I love that. How do you say you've grown as a person compared to when you were younger?
I mean, I feel like I was confident, but I feel like I've grown in confidence in different ways. Like just going up to people that I respect. Like I would have never done that, but now if I see someone that like I really respect, and I kind of got more confidence to kind of go up to them and like say hi and kind of introduce myself like that, which I never would have done before. But I feel like this stuff kind of helps, like interviews and stuff like this, and kind of just like talking to strangers all the time has kind of helped me, you know, grow that confidence. So.
What would you say have been your biggest challenges in your life so far?
I don't know. I feel like keeping relationships with my friends, really. Like family, I know will never leave, but like my friends that I've like had and the friendships that I've cherished, like back at home, have definitely been harder to maintain just because I'm away so much. And yeah, it is really hard, kind of going back home, and like everyone's changed so much, and some people don't really want to hang out with you anymore.
Oh wow.
And then some people have changed, like also for the worse, and you just don't want to like hang out with them either. So yeah, that's kind of hard to come back and see just everything change.
What does success look like to you?
Being happy and comfortable with yourself and having good people around you.
Yeah. What does love mean to you?
Being happy, having good people around you and being comfortable with that person. Yeah, I don't know, pretty much the exact same thing. Yeah, success and love are great. So.
Last question, what do you want to be remembered for?
I want to be remembered for my music and being a person who released the music and wasn't a dick doing it.
Yeah. I love it. This is awesome. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Bye.